What is up, guys? It is Flash, back with some more charts and another video. It is 5:54 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday, April 15th. Going through the regular cadence with you guys today. We got the video cadence here. We're going to start with Bitcoin. We're going to jump right in. So I got Bitcoin here pulled up with the rainbow wave indicator. Thank you to Leo Hart. This is the representation of the power law and Bitcoin's bubble phases, and then pullback bear market phases, right? So there's a couple different ways to look at this. And so far, this is on the 3-day time frame. I mean, we're tracking here, but I do think, I would be expecting, if we're going to hit this bubble phase, expecting a big run up for the remainder of 2025. And I do think that's possible, right? So this is just one way of looking at it. The other way I'm going to pull up is just the more traditional power law. This doesn't take into consideration, it's the same indicator, right? Has the same lines, the same math behind it. Doesn't display those bubble phases or those bear market phases. It's really just the main green line in the middle, and then the different colored blue and green waves that are kind of, is Bitcoin overvalued, fair valued, or a little bit undervalued. And so I also like looking at it from this perspective where I don't necessarily need a bubble phase to happen for my own sanity, my own well-being, because I know at the end of the day, this is hard money. This is hard, sound money. And I am buying every day, every week, every month. I want to be putting fiat dollars into Bitcoin. And this is Bitcoin obviously measured in fiat US dollars. So it's the scarce asset going to appreciate against the not scarce asset. That's a simple way to say it. There's obviously a lot more that goes into it. But I also like looking at it in the regular scale, right? That was the logarithmic. This is the regular. I mean, if you have this point of view where, hey, I'm just going to be dollar cost averaging, buying Bitcoin whenever I can, whenever I feel like it, this is the path for you into the future. And so that's kind of just the way I'm looking at it. Don't necessarily need the bubble phase. Obviously, it'd be awesome and all the hype that goes with it. But then you have a big bear market, right? So it kind of goes, it's a double-edged sword. There's a yin and yang there. But if we just focus on the core power trend, the core power law, I think we're going to be in business. So just a quick perspective, guys, to kick off the video. We'll go back to this chart. We'll put it on the daily. And I was also playing around with that days offset. So the global money supply days offset indicator. This is, I believe, offset to be, bear with me one sec. Yeah, 108 days. That's exactly where we want it. And so we can line it up. And it looks good, right? But what I also did was I used AI and I created kind of more of a smoother indicator to kind of go along with this. And this is just kind of, if we look at the settings here, smoothing period, it's kind of like a 14-day moving average, right? So it's just kind of a smoother line. There's less noise. And let's go ahead and try to match this up. But this is not right. The offset isn't right, I can tell. Yeah, that's at 45 days. Let's put it at 108. This is backed by data. It's backed by correlation analysis. Thank you to Colin Talks Crypto. And we almost have to kind of move it like this. It's it's more or less a moving average of the money supply, right? And then you can kind of think about it as a moving average for the Bitcoin price too. But I posted this on Twitter, on X, and it got a good response. So I'm thinking it's valuable and people may want to see more of it. But this global money supply is just mooning. So we talked about that big move that's necessary to hit this bubble phase. If Bitcoin continues to follow the global money supply, 80% correlation, so to speak, over the last 108 days, I'm not sure what it is exactly. This is exactly what you would want to see from the money supply appreciating. And hopefully Bitcoin will follow suit, right? So this looks good. We're on our way up, it looks like, according to this. So I'll definitely keep my eye on this for you guys. And then we'll drop into just kind of the daily time frame for Bitcoin. Can look at it a couple different ways. This is the daily. Get a good image for you guys. So we broke out of this green line, which is what we wanted to see. Looks like we're just kind of consolidating. And if we pull up that sign line that I mentioned in a couple of my other previous videos, we're on the up move. We're on the up move until, give or take, the 23rd of April, according to this cycle, the 30-day cycle that David F. at TradingHurst on X has been identifying. But if you remember from my previous video, we want to see kind of fast price action up here. We don't want to see this kind of stumble and then roll back over. So I think that's still to be determined, right? I think if we get a couple more big up days between now and April 23rd, give or take, I think we'll know we're officially out of this kind of really big domed consolidation. But I have this blue channel here. If we look back over here, we saw a similar look and feel coming out of that domed consolidation. And then even back here, back in 2023, September, we kind of followed this little channel. This is kind of like the bridge to Narnia. We want to ride this channel, ride the bridge, and then break out of it and go to all-time highs. So hopefully price action will kind of give us a similar look and feel as it has done before. And we'll follow this blue channel, eventually break out of it, follow that money supply, and go to all-time highs. I'm thinking 200, 250K, maybe 300K Bitcoin. Those are kind of my expectations. And then we'll quickly touch on Bitcoin measured in gold, because we want to measure Bitcoin against another hard asset. Gold is, I think, next in line after Bitcoin. So we're still kind of squeezing here. We haven't officially broken out against gold. I imagine we'll kind of round out, or we could also get like a very quick move up. Bitcoin kind of likes to run really quick and then consolidate, especially against gold. So the moves are pretty quick, as you can kind of see here. All right, now let's look at MSTR. I'm going to skip a couple of these tickers today. I just want to focus on the core ones that I follow. But here's MSTR. I mean, what a thing of beauty. We kind of, dipped below this channel. Again, this is just a channel that I put on the chart. Probably see it elsewhere on X, on YouTube. But again, I want to bring back this smoothed M2 money supply, and I want to adjust this to 45 days. Because I think just kind of when you look at it, it looks like the 45-day offset going back a long time, going back through early 2024, it's when it really started matching up, has led MicroStrategy. 45 days, you can compare that to the 108-day offset with Bitcoin. I do think that MSTR leads Bitcoin's price, right? Because it has a strategy. It acquires Bitcoin, it leverages up, and I think it's more liquid, I think, and it's more sensitive to obviously what Bitcoin is going to do. So I think it'll kind of sniff out where Bitcoin's going before Bitcoin gets there, and it'll lead it. So that's why this is on a 45-day offset. That's kind of my theory. And I think it's backed by data, obviously. So, I have this $1,100 target. That is from the ballistic acceleration model by MicroStrategist. See if I can pull it up here. So this is the model, and yeah, these are all, the green are all data points, MSTR measurements when Bitcoin is a specific price. So if we go up to 150K Bitcoin, 1.2K MSTR price. So that's where I'm kind of getting this green line. I got to adjust this to 1200. It changes because it's like a living, breathing model. So guys, I mean, again, if money supply is a real thing, if this is going to happen, I mean, we are set to rocket very soon, and we're going to be climbing. And I hope we can get to $1,200 MSTR, 150K Bitcoin is kind of my first checkpoint, right? Then I think we could be off to 200K Bitcoin, but there may be another pullback before then. So MSTR looks really good. You got to love this offset. Again, thank you to Colin Talks Crypto for putting it out into the universe and the help that he got. Now we're going to look at MSTR measured in Bitcoin. And this is where I talk about, okay, if this is going up and to the right, that means MSTR is outperforming Bitcoin. And, I'm not sure if maybe it's leading price. Yes, maybe it's doing a little bit earlier. But it's definitely outperforming it, right? And that's what this chart represents. So, we'll zoom in a little bit, maybe to the 6 hour, get a little bit more detail here. But I mean, we're right in the channel. we're in this bull. We broke out of this descending resistance line. We also want to get above this green one, right? So this bull kind of represents the time it could take. That is kind of brought back like this consolidation. It took some time. We didn't just dip and keep launching. We kind of consolidated and we rounded out a little bit as part of, and if I zoom out, a bigger rounding out, right? So this is a big rounded bottom here going back to 2018, 2019. Obviously, MSTR started buying Bitcoin in August of 2020, which is like right here. So this is all, I think, high, big time frame accumulation. Smart money. Smart money into hard and sound money. Pretty good combo. Next, we'll look at MSTR measured in gold. And again, similar look and feel to the measurement in the US dollars. Still kind of bull flagging out here. We're retesting this upwards channel. So really a good looking chart when you kind of take a step back and look at it from a bigger picture. And then obviously, you kind of have the bottom of the bull to the top. Whoops. You have your measured move target here, assuming it breaks out, to the top of this channel. So it looks really, really good, guys. Another fun one I'll just pull up for the group today is MSTR measured in Tesla. So this is just comparing the price of MSTR to the price of Tesla. It's measuring MSTR with Tesla shares. And really it only matters to start measuring it from like August of 2020, right? So we'll kind of just go, yeah, this is what we should really be measuring this by. And so we can pull up a couple things. We can pull up the 30 period SMA and the Ichimoku cloud. And we'll zoom into this specific price action. Again, this is on the weekly time frame. And what you see here is we're above the weekly Ichimoku cloud. We're above an ascending 30-week moving average. From a weekly perspective, I guess maybe not macro, but a bigger picture perspective, MSTR is outperforming Tesla. Yes, this was kind of a big consolidation, but generally speaking, we're going up and to the right in this direction. And so there are some trend lines on here to kind of represent that. You can also kind of put on a big bull here too. Just kind of looking at that right now. So, big things coming for MSTR, guys. But I will leave you back at this. If we put that money supply on here, smooth it out, I think we're going to be off to the races, guys, in a short period of time. But also have this perspective in mind, I think. Like, hard money, hard money, hard money. That's the name of the game. Let's get out of the rat race together. This is Flash signing off. Drop me a like if you guys found this helpful. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.